Just have a couple of things that we'll take care of as we progress through this speech here. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. It is an honor and a privilege to serve as the faculty greeter at this year's Ivy Day celebration. You are the best of the best in your respective disciplines, and we are here to honor you tonight and this weekend. Just a couple of things before we get started. First, I want to apologize in advance with regard to getting off on a tangent or two. It happens in class. I know it's going to happen here. So I want to apologize already for that. The second thing as well, and for those of you who have had me in class before, one thing that I do is I start to talk faster and faster and faster. If that happens here in the next 10 minutes or so, just say, hey, slow down, and I'll certainly go ahead and do that for you. The last thing is that every single one of you who are honoring tonight and graduating tomorrow morning, you should have gotten an M&M bag. I apologize for not having one for the rest of the people who are here supporting everyone, but everyone who are honoring here tonight should have one of these, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. We're going to use these in just a little bit. When you first arrived at Chadron State College, you might have had the thought, maybe even said it out loud once or twice since then, that Chadron State is in the middle of nowhere. Why am I here? To answer that question, you may have done some nice things in high school that warranted a scholarship to CSC. You may have had a friend or two that went to Chadron State. Even better, you may have had a family member or two that went to college here in Chadron. You decided to go to Chadron State College to be challenged to do bigger things. So you went to your first class. It might have been over in the Math and Science building, or over here in M Hall, or somewhere in between. You sat down in the classroom, looked around, and thought to yourself, hello, college, now it all begins. You did your homework most of the time. You studied most of the time. At least that's what you told your parents. And you made some friends along the way. Over the course of the next several years, you did some good things. Well, speaking of good things, let's get out those M&Ms. So for those that we're honoring here tonight, if you would go ahead and get those M&Ms, take them out of the plastic bag, and what it is that we'd like you to do is we'd like you to open them up. So open up your bag of M&Ms. For those of you who've had me in class, of course, we use these in statistics quite a bit with regard to probability. We do some statistical testing and whatnot with regard to that, but we're not going to do any of that stuff, mostly because I forgot my calculator. So we're not going to do any of that stuff. Okay, so everybody have those open? All right. What it is that we'd like you to do, have your palm opened up. And what we'd like you to do, and I'll be careful with this because those things are a little tricky. They're not really conducive to doing a project or an activity like this in this type of a setting. But have your palm face up and go ahead and put all the M&Ms there onto your hand, onto the palm of your hand. So we'll just give you a few moments to go ahead and do that. And just from the looks of it, some of you, most of you, are probably pretty analytical, so I can kind of see that you are kind of separating them by color. Some of you might be where it is that you have your two fingers adjacent to each other. You can see the lines that are there. Some of you might have those same colors on the lines of your fingers. That's perfectly fine, not a problem with that. And again, if you happen to drop some, don't worry, we're going to pick those up after we get done here tonight. Your hand and these M&Ms represent your first class. You knew some of the people in the class, and some of those people also knew each other. Thus, we have ourselves the same colored M&Ms. While others were total strangers, and thus we have ourselves different colored M&Ms. What it is I'd like you to do is to go ahead and randomly pick one M&M of your group that is in the palm of your hand. Everybody got theirs? All right. The reason for doing this is not as a probability activity, but an example for which you yourself represents that M&M you chose. And the other M&Ms represent others around you that you may or may not know. Now place that M&M back onto the palm of your hand and then cup your hand. So go ahead and put it back in the palm of your hand and then cup your hand. Everybody got that done? You see what happened to the M&Ms there? All of the M&Ms came toward your own M&M. What this represents, it represents all of your friends and classmates that you have come to know over the past several years. On the outside, you are all different. with some alike. But on the inside, and we all know what's on the inside of M&Ms, right? Yeah, absolutely. Each of you had the same common goal, which is tonight and this weekend. So go ahead and put the M&Ms in the wrapper, and the wrapper in the Ziploc bag, and go ahead and seal those things up if you want. But also feel free to eat them if you feel so inclined to do so if you want. And you can take those with you at the end of the program. All right, so we kind of got off on a little bit of a tangent, but we're going to even get more tangential. By the way, in most, if not all of your bags of M&Ms, you can certainly look at them if you wish. How many colors are there? 5? It kind of all depends, but how many traditional colors are there? Even if you don't have them all, there are 6 of them, aren't there? And what are they? Red, blue, yellow, green, brown, and orange. There are 6. Did you know that 6 is a perfect number? Now, I know Blake is in the stands out there or sitting out there. Rylan, you're also out there as well. Perfect numbers. What a perfect number is a positive integer that is equal to the sum of its proper divisors. Now, if you're not sure what a proper divisor is, it's all the factors of that number excluding that number itself. So, for example, if you take a look at the number 6, the factors of 6 are 1, 2, and 3, and the sum of 1, 2, and 3 is 6. So therefore, 6 is a perfect number. So what it is we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of logic, a little bit of mathematical induction, and deduce some things, so mathematical deduction. Since 6 is a perfect number, and there are 6 different colors of M&Ms, what does that then tell us about M&Ms? The perfect candy. The perfect candy, M&Ms. There you go. So you can go ahead and take that. Now, again, we're definitely getting off on a tangent here, a second tangent if you wish. So some of you might almost be thinking of, well, what is the next perfect number? And the next perfect number is 28. The next perfect number after that is 496. The next perfect number after that is in the 8,000s. Now, we're not going to sit here all night to get all the perfect numbers that we know, because in actuality, there's only 50 perfect numbers that we know of. Okay, so we're going to kind of leave that little tangent there for a little bit. Now let's get back to you. With the culmination of your undergraduate experience, you have done some great things. Tonight represents the great things you did in your academic disciplines. As you move forward with your life endeavors, the opportunities that you have been provided have helped you shape and mold you into the person and people you are today. A person that is much different than when you started college several years ago. Many of these opportunities are unique to Chadron State. Where else can you take classes such as Cuba Libre or mathletics? Do we have any mathletic alumni? There we go, put those hands up. Mathletics alumni out there, there we go. Where else can you participate in the big event and not only impact the community of Chadron, but the entire panhandle of Nebraska? Where else can you meet John Murphy? Katie O'Boyle. Katie, you're out there. Or Alex Helmbrecht. Or President Ryan. Where else can you meet those people? Oh, by the way, John, there's 1.12 million John Murphys in the world. So therefore, every 1 in 110,952 people that you come across, their name is John Murphy. So take that with you, John. All right. And likewise, too, where else can you find faculty, staff, administration, and community members that care for you and know you on an individual basis? When you look around the campus of CSC and the city of Chadron, these people are literally everywhere. With your graduation, many will enter into the workforce. Several will honorably serve in one of the military branches, while others will enroll in advanced education or professional schooling. Now, this is where it's going to get a little challenging here. What it is I've got here, this is where it's going to get a little tricky. All right. So, we're going to take this thing off. I think I got it. Thanks. Some of you are going to become coaches. Now, some of you are already coaches. Okay, so this is where I told Alex this. We're going to have a little bit of costume changes. John, you're going to like this one. I got the whistle. I'm not gonna blow the whistle. I know it's gonna be pretty loud, but I was gonna tee you up, John, and throw you out of this arena right now. So we've got that one. And I think you'll get a kick out of this next one. Now I'm gonna have to step out here. All right, this is kind of ironic. Now, some of you probably have heard this a little bit already today. My kids, and another ironic, getting a tangent thing here, my wife and I, we have 6 kids of our own, perfect number. And a couple of Christmases ago, they gave this shirt to me. And it's kind of ironic that I'm wearing this shirt today, given the day that we are. And may the 4th be with you. Also, another tangent. And lastly, some may become professors. Regardless of the path you take, travel your path knowing that you have done everything in your power to succeed, just like the path you took that led you to be honored tonight. From this point forward, you will do your greatest things. Good luck. You have found that Chadron State College is not a college in the middle of nowhere, but rather a college in the middle of everywhere. Thank you.